Ikoria Lair of Behemoths is completely spoiled. Today we are going to be ranking every single mythic that came out of Ikoria.
Like the humans inside the walls of their castles in Ikoria, we will be giving everything a rank S through F, and you all have to play the monsters on the outside of the walls going, "Rah! That should have been a B!"
And remember, this is a completely sanctioned tier list. All of these choices are the correct choices.
Serious.
There are no other choices.
Serious
The video starts right
business.
now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We're going to rank the Ikoria Mythics in this edition of tier lists you can yell at us about. But first, if you wouldn't mind, go down there and hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you find yourself enjoying the video at any point, I'm not saying to do it right this moment.
Without any further delay, let's get into the cardboard.
Where better to start with Ikoria than Godzilla, king of the monsters? We are going to be ranking these cards on general playability, and I know that's going to be frustrating for some of you because you won't be able to argue with us, but we are talking about viability across multiple formats, okay? I want to talk about, you know, it gets points if you can play it in Standard, if you can play it additionally in Pioneer, Modern, Commander, these kind of things. We're talking
And
about...
in theory, you can play these in any format that you want.
Right.
But should you is kind of like where we're going to be approaching this from.
Yeah.
Zolortha, Strength Incarnate, a card that does not exist, to my understanding.
Godzilla, king of the monsters. We got green, red, 3 other for a trampling backwards Doran the Siege Tower. This card has a helicopter in it that is now canon in MTG. It automatically gets a point for the helicopter being canon in MTG.
So
I'm
it
kidding.
cannot be an F.
It cannot be an F.
We've already covered this card in another tier list. If you want to check out that tier list,
Yeah.
I will link it in the cards now. But Godzilla King of the Monsters is very middle ground, and I'm not going to change my stance on it now that I'm looking at it from other formats. Do I think it could find some playability in Standard? Maybe. Do I think it will? Not really. Is it Modern playable? Absolutely not. Is it
Pioneer
Legacy playable? Not
No.
even possible. Pioneer, maybe Pioneer could do something with it, but it really just isn't super impressive to me. However, it's not unplayable. I think
Right.
in Limited, the card is excellent.
It is wild, Jake, that we've been playing so long, playing this game so long, that we have gotten to a point where a 7/7 trampler for 5, we're going,
Yeah, so let's go ahead and rank the card. I think it's a C, dude. I think it's just... I don't think it's absolutely awful. And just so you know, with our rankings, F is like bad, unplayable, don't do it. E is like...
forever unplayable.
It's like not great at all. D, not great. C is like, the card is fine.
Yeah.
It's not... It's got credibility. Let's say that. C is like...
C is for credibility.
C is for credibility. Let's just rank this as S and talk about it a little bit.
So Fiend Artisan is Hybrid Mana Golgari X2 up here. Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. It's a 1/1 out of the gate. And it's got this kind of birthing pod thing going on down here. I think that once people figure this card out, it's going to be Standard playable. It's going to be Pioneer playable. Modern, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
We'll see.
I could see it finding a home in Modern.
It's a little slow. If it had haste, I would say, what were you doing, Wizards? And then I would say probably Modern playable. But Commander as one of your 99, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that too. You know? So, yeah, I think that S is fair. I think that S
It's
is...
100% going to be played in Standard to great effect. It
Right.
might not be broken this set, but in an upcoming set, Fiend Artisan is going to be one of those cards that's just like all over the place, man, ubiquitous. People are going to be like, oh, it's a Fiend Artisan deck.
Yeah,
and
freaking
you know,
Fiend Artisan.
in Pioneer, you know, Birthing Pod got banned in Modern for a reason, and it's because it is just absolute shenanigans. It allows you to run creatures that aren't even in the colors of the deck. Because what you can do is you can sack a dude, and then you go grab... You know, you could run... I remember when Pod was really taking off, and it would run like a random Manic Vandal, and there was like no red, but it's just like, go grab your Artifact Destruction, whatever you needed. The card is really, really good, so I can't wait to hear people who don't think it's an S-rank card. Let's talk about Winota. Joiner of Forces.
Yeah, Winota Joiner of Forces. We got white-red 2. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6. You can put a human creature from among them tapped and attacking onto the battlefield. Gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of your cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Now look, we've ranked this card a couple of times now from different perspectives, and now we're coming from a general sense. But we're also coming from a more experienced position as well. We've seen this card played.
That's true.
We've played this card. It's been played against us. Winota is kind of a house.
Yeah, it's actually really, really good. We ranked it in Commander, and I think at first glance the synergy wasn't apparent, but now there have been a lot of people who have explained synergies and combos with this card. Essentially, there's a lot of creatures that you can play that are not humans, that only make humans. And so the percent chance to just absolutely combo off and just dig through your deck, it's actually really high. It's a Boros commander, so I can't ever say it's going to be S rank.
I'm still low on it for commander, and I can't wait to have a discussion with all of you below about it in commander. But in standard, it absolutely gets points. I think Pioneer is a possibility. I think it's too slow for modern because it doesn't have haste. But the thing is, and this is the thing, Jake, that I wasn't thinking about the first time we ranked this card. Winota, you have 4 non-human creatures on the board. You cast Winota, it doesn't need haste. It's basically an enchantment that first play, that first turn that it's been played. So you play it right when you're about to swing with 4 non-humans, and you just dig through your whole deck and pull out your best humans. They've got indestructible. They're probably, antheming your board that's already attacking, and that is where the synergy comes from with Winota that has been explained to us at length. Thank you.
Right.
And we've seen it firsthand.
There's a lot of I do think there's a lot of resurgence with this card. I do think it will be played in standard. I think like aggro, like Boros aggro has a little bit of trouble in Pioneer. I haven't really seen a big Boros aggro deck really break out. There's other aggro decks that have taken off, but standard playable, definitely. I think in Commander it's really good. I would actually rank it at an A, just based on what we've seen.
We can go
from
A.
the card.
I think time will be kind to us if we rank it a B, but I'm comfortable with saying A. And
we could also put B plus. I mean, I'm
roll with
I'm fine to put it. All right, A is fine.
I like your first inclination there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the card is really good, and it has a lot of power that we didn't see right out the gate.
Vadrock, Apex of Thunder is Jeskai for a 3/3 flying first striker. Mutate for 4, and when that happens, you can cast a non-creature card with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard for free.
I think it's a really good card in Constructed. I don't think it's super good in Commander. I think in Standard, in Pioneer, this card is going to find playability. I don't really know in Modern, but Modern might find something for this. It's a 3/3 with flying and first strike 4/3.
Yeah.
And you get to play something for free. Modern loves free stuff. If you can play something for free, it's the reason why cards like Gitaxian Probe got banned. This card is very, very good.
What's missing from this card to really put it into A or S tier for me is Flash. If you could cast counterspells with this from your graveyard, that would put this over the edge for me. And maybe why they designed it this way, maybe that did put it over the edge. I mean, look at the art direction here. We've got lightning and aether trail all over this creature. Elemental dinosaur cat. So it seems like at some point maybe Flash was tested and it had to have been shot down.
There's one thing I want to talk about with this card is its color restriction if you're playing it straight up. That is one thing that I think dials it back, but if you are building this into a red-white deck or a red-blue deck, I think you're going to have more success just being able to tune the deck more effectively and not have to worry about all of that mana. Because the mutate is designed in such a way where if you do mutate this onto something, you're getting the card and it costs 1 more mana, but there's less color restriction. I would actually rank it at like a B.
Yeah,
it's kind of like where I'm feeling.
I'm feeling a B with it as well. We got Snapdax up next. Jake, what do you think of Snapdax? I haven't actually. Okay, so
I think it's good and limited.
Yeah, I asked you a question and then I had my own thing to say immediately.
Yeah, why don't you talk about it? I'll say what it is. Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt for black, white, red, 1 other. It has a mutate alternative cost, 2 red or a black hybrid, and 2 white for double strike. When this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. We don't ever really care about the life gain, but sometimes it's relevant.
Yeah, it's a little relevant. I think that, okay, so far in the early brewing of this set, I haven't seen this card, I don't think once. I don't think really anybody's high on this. The 5 is really high for the mutate on this. And the ability is just fine. If it said when this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker, this would be played. But because it's only dealing 4 damage, it's not hitting everything. It's not even definitely finishing off a planeswalker. I mean, Nissa, this can't kill Nissa. And Nissa is going to be prevalent until it rotates out, which feels like maybe the day we die. But Snapdax can't kill the planeswalker right out of the gate all the time, and that's what I think is going to keep it from being played. Maybe this card is meant to be played the opposite way. You know, maybe this is one of the mutate creatures that is meant to be played as the base of a mutate, and then it's meant to be built with other mutate creatures in there so that they can land on top of the Snapdax and trigger that 4 damage to a creature, a planeswalker gain 4 over and over and over.
Maybe that's a good way to look at it. A 3/5 for 4 with double strike, and then build other mutate
on top. I don't know.
The thing is that forces mutate, and right now mutate doesn't exactly have a robust suite of cards at its disposal to build and tinker with. So it kind of pigeonholes you into a bunch of new cards. I think that from a commander perspective, I don't like it very much. From a modern perspective, I think it's unplayable. From a pioneer perspective, I have to say I also think it's unplayable. It's just a little bit too expensive and a little underwhelming for what you get from it.
You can see where I'm putting it. Do you like it at a D? Does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't fight you on it. I feel like a D is fine. Let's talk about a card that is good.
Oh, this is a house. Riel the Everwise. We got Is It +1 for a creature that gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard, and whenever you discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. So, I've already built a 3 ways video around this as a commander. I love it in Commander. I'm a big fan. Obviously a limited house. We played it in a draft and it was absolutely dope. We built it into a crappy meme deck and it was the best card in the deck. This card was overperforming like crazy.
Yeah. Let's just talk about really quick. I want to talk about a card that has found playability in Modern and Pioneer, Cathartic Reunion. And this card loves Cathartic Reunion so much. So,
I mean, the effect got banned on one card in Modern. Faithless Looting?
Well, yeah, Faithless Looting, yeah, it would love to play with Faithless Looting as well. But in this, when you cast Cathartic with Riel on the battlefield, you're discarding 2 cards to draw 3. So you're going to draw 2 cards from the cards that you discarded off Cathartic, then you're going to draw 3 more cards. So the opportunity to kind of pseudo storm off here with this card, I think that the potential with this is very, very high. And that 3 toughness is something that we should talk about for Pioneer, because Wild Slash is
that's exactly
the
what
card.
I was gonna say,
dude. Wild Slash hits for 2. Shock hits for 2. After that, you don't have Lightning Bolt
they have to Lightning Strike it to kill it.
You have to Lightning Strike it. And Lightning Strike is a big difference between Lightning Strike and Lightning Bolt. And so, you're trying to be mana efficient in the Eternal formats. I would rank it. It has blue, dude. I want to rank it S, but I think we could put it at F. All right. Let's just rank it at F.
We'll just drop it at F, and then
let's talk about Nethroi.
What do you think? A?
I would, yeah, let's rank it at A. I don't think it's a kind of card that's just like absolutely broken. Right. If it had hexproof, I would just be like, what were they thinking? Why are they allowed to make these decisions?
Estupido. Unblockable.
Yeah,
unblockable, hexproof. Let's look at Nethroi, Apex of Death. This card blew us out in a draft. I gotta be honest. We got Abzan +2 for a 5/5 death-touching lifelinker that's got a mutate ability that costs 7, and when it mutates, return any number of target creatures with total power 10 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Short anecdote. Jake and I were drafting together on Twitch. Go check out our Twitch, Tuesdays and Thursdays, for rights and necessary. And we had the game locked up. We were going to win the game. And our opponent cast Nethroi, swung like a turn after we wiped the board, it felt like, swung everything back that we had just wiped off back on the battlefield.
we had the Mythos of Snapdax, and so we let them fill up their board. Actually, it's kind of funny, we were playing against Seth Manfield in this game, and it was during the early access event. It was actually a really close game, and it was really fun, but we ended up wiping their board. We let them fill up their board, but we didn't know that they had Nethroi in hand. You can't really plan for your opponent having a Mythic in hand in a limited draft, but they did happen to have Nethroi. He flashes everything back, brings back the whole yard, dude. And this is the kind of thing that makes me feel like there's some real potency here, because with the dredge effects that exist in Eternal formats, just like the ability to just dig down deep, I could see this playing alongside something like Soulflayer and Pioneer, even though Soulflayer exiles cards. If you're pitching enough stuff to the yard, the ability... Right, well, the Death Touch and the Lifelink, but the ability to just resurge, like, you know, that deck plays Lotleth Troll, there's other targets that you can play and mutate this onto, but I think in an Eternal format, having this at the top of your curve, I don't think it's that much out of reach.
So obviously it's a limited house. I think it's got playability in Commander as well. I think that it's probably going to see standard play, because like you were alluding to with the Vadrok conversation, Nethroi can be played in a Orzhov deck, can be played in a Golgari deck.
Sure.
And not even worry about this up here. Not, you know, that's not what you want to be doing probably, but the opportunity exists. For Nethroi, I mean, it's hard for me on this one, man, because it's 7. Yeah. 7
I know.
Kills me.
I know that 7 is a lot, but I could see it being in like a black-green kind of like go wide. I don't think we can rank it at an A.
No.
Just because 7 is very expensive. However, I am very hyped on that ability. The ability to just, you know, do stuff like Grizzly Salvage and Mulch and just like dig through, throw stuff in the graveyard. I think that this is the kind of card, if you build it into like a Golgari control or an Orzhov control with, you know, powerful creatures and powerful effects that you don't mind milling because you know you're going to play Nethroi.
Right.
I think that it could be good. Do I think that it is expensive at 7? Yes.
A lot.
So I think B is
I think
fine.
B is, I'm comfortable with B. We've got Narset, the Planeswalker of the ancient way up here. Jeskai, +1 for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. +1 to gain 2 life. Add 1 mana of Jeskai colors. Spend it to cast a non-creature. -2 to draw a card, then you may discard a card, and when you discard a non-land this way, Narset deals damage equal to that card's CMC to a creature or a Planeswalker, and then -6, you're going to get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature. This emblem deals 2 to any target. I have been watching people brew this card into Jeskai decks and finding success with it, my man. -2.
Are they doing like Super Friends, or are they doing like a... Because
Super
that's where I would build it. I would build it into like Narset, Teferi,
Deafening Clarion.
Sarkhan.
Oh yeah, Teferi's in it. Sarkhan's in it. 100%. The Jeskai Ultimatum that we rated so low in the Ultimatum episode, except for Standard, that card is being played in this right now. You know, it's for me.
Draw 5 cards is good.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It is good.
Gaining 2 life to add some and adding some mana is a decent +1. It's like we've talked about. The ultimate, the -6 is not.
That's where you want to live with this
difficult
card.
To get
that is what I see is the build around. That is how you win, because once you have that emblem, every time you opt,
but I mean,
every time you do anything,
it's
2 damage to any target.
You've got permanent removal built in with that -2. And
4 is good for a
filtering
planeswalker.
stuff.
It's kind of in like the make or break territory.
Right.
3 is obviously very, very good for a planeswalker. 5 is like, is it Nissa quality?
Right. I'm very happy with this at a B. That's my point.
I think it'll be fine in Commander. In Commander, it has excellent color support. I think B is fine.
Actually,
it's not game breaking. When I think of it as like a planeswalker, no, dude, I don't think it's a C. I think it's actually. I think I felt good with B.
You feel B? Okay, yeah, because I do honestly think it will probably see some standard play, not as a 4 of, but 1, 2, 3 of. And do I see it in any other format? Not really.
I think maybe
standard.
some chance in Pioneer, dude. I really do think that Pioneer could find a home for it, because in these Eternal formats, and maybe even Modern. Modern is a fast format, but you never know what people can come up with if they are building some sort of Jeskai control. Maybe it will fill a void in a deck.
Maybe
like that.
-2 looks at CMCs though, and all your CMCs in a Modern deck, you ain't got any 7s floating around that you're like, I can pitch this 7 to kill that 7/7.
Yeah, that's true.
It's possible.
That's true. That's fair.
We got Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy, Simic for a 2/2. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add another mana, and pay 7 to look at the top 5, put a non-human creature from them onto the battlefield.
It's very good.
In Commander, it's a house, number 1.
Yeah, we've already ranked it in Commander, so let's just say it's extremely good in Commander with all of the mana rocks and all of the ramp and the ability to just put a permanent on the battlefield that could be an Eldrazi and then stop. We're done talking about it in Commander. It's excellent in Commander.
Yep.
It is Simic in Standard, which, if you don't know about Simic, has been kind of a menace ever since, I don't know, Teamer Energy at this point.
But Jake, that's a double-edged sword with Simic, because the Simic deck is already so good. This doesn't really have a place. For 2 mana, you want to be growth spiraling. Then for 3 mana, you want to be Uroing. You don't have many non-land permanents in that deck anymore that are making mana. So all of the mana in that deck is coming from just hyper ramp. Lands onto the battlefield. Now, that only has to do with that first text check.
Right. Because the bottom...
right, exactly.
Yeah, this is like the kind of thing where you may have just gone through a board wipe, and now in Standard, that deck. That deck has so much mana. After you've started playing all those Cavaliers and whatever, I mean, this is just play Kinnan. Do you have an answer? Because it's about to get really, really, really nasty here.
Yeah,
really
it's very
fast. So the ability to like bounce back is huge.
Yeah, especially in the elemental deck.
Even if they just played in like a 2 of, or like a 1 of or a 2 of.
Well,
like,
that's what that deck
runs,
a bunch of like 2 ofs, 3 ofs,
And again, in Modern, loves 2-drops. Pioneer loves 2-drops. There's a lot of ways to explode in mana in those formats. In Modern, this might be used to go grab Primeval Titan in certain decks. I don't know. I would rank it at an F.
Okay, let's go ahead and put it at an F, and we can move on to Illuna.
Yeah, let's just talk about Illuna, Apex of Wishes.
Do we think
No, just leave it at an F. Okay. No, yeah, because I don't think it... Let's just leave Kinnan at F and talk about Illuna, Apex of Wishes.
Yeah, Illuna is... We've got Teamer +2 up there for a 6/6 Flying Trampler. Whenever it mutates for 6, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Now, we've talked about Illuna in Commander, and like Jake said, we don't have to go any further on the Commander discussion. We're pretty sure it is solid as hell in Commander. Jake, Standard play? Possible. Pioneer play? Probably not. Modern play? Definitely not.
I mean, I don't know. These formats, when eggs popped up and somebody brought eggs to a tournament and just absolutely blew the whole tournament out.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that there will be somebody that will tinker with this and do something really degenerate with it. And it might blindside us. It might be this set, but it might be, a couple years down the road. There is a lot of opportunity for combo. So That's all that I can say, is there's a lot of opportunity to go find... After you broke it down for me and you explained how you can build it in such a way where you know what permanent you're going to get, then now we're talking.
Right, so what Jake is alluding to is whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Okay, so if you've only got a Luna and the exact permanent that you want when a Luna triggers... And
let's say it's Blightsteel Colossus, and somehow it has haste.
Yeah.
Without anger or without fervor.
The thing is, Jake, I think in these colors, you've got Temur for five total up here for a 6/6 flying trampler. That ain't nothing to shake a stick at. All right. You got that dropping on to Mana Dork and attacking out of the gate just like that. I think that could work.
For 5 mana, would you rather get this or Lyra Dawnbringer?
Yeah.
Or Baneslayer Angel?
Right, but we're in a free card. If we hit the right thing, I'd rather have this. I think it's a C. I think I'm dancing around it being a C, but
that's fine. I think it's okay in Commander. Yeah. I think that a lot of people are going to be more hyped on Calamax at this point with these colors because Calamax can go infinite. Let's talk about General Kudrow. Very good.
Yeah, this is an interesting card. So I think this is going to be standard, pioneer, and modern playable, just right out of the gate. We've seen 3-cost creatures that have 3/3 for their power toughness and also come with an anthem be played in many decks across many formats.
3-cost is a sweet spot, dude. It really is.
It's absolutely huge. I will say this. I tried it in Singleton in Brawl and Commander, and I wasn't impressed as I thought I was going to be with a guaranteed anthem coming out of the command zone. That's not to say that I don't think it's good in Commander, but it disappointed me in that regard. However, the fact that this will be a 4 of in Standard Humans, Pioneer Humans, and Modern Humans absolutely starts it at an A for me. And the reason I say
I don't know if it'll be a 4 of in Modern.
Jake, sacrifice 2 humans, not 2 other humans, 2 humans. When he enters the battlefield, hate the graveyard, pay 2, sacrifice him and the other human you've got to destroy their power 4 or greater that's ending your life. Maybe in Modern it's not going to be a 4 of, you're right.
I think it will be. It will probably be like a 2 of or a 3 of, or it might be like a sideboard card for anybody who's playing like big stuff where you need to be able to sacrifice your humans to destroy, because that deck runs so many creatures. So there's very little room for, it's just so finely tuned at this point. However, the anthem is good, and I might be wrong, because having an anthem is excellent. A lot of the powerful 2-drops, Kitesail, Freebooter, Thalia, Meddling Mage, like this does have a good spot being a 3-drop. So I would say that it is another B. I feel like we're giving out another B here.
Okay. I was going to say A, but I'm comfortable with a B on this one.
Because like in Commander, dude, I'm not super hyped on it as a Commander. That sack 2 humans to destroy 4 or greater isn't that big of a deal. The graveyard hate is kind of a big deal in Commander. A lot of people like to play with their graveyards, but yeah, I think a B is fine.
Yeah. We got Cheville, Bane of Monsters for Golgari. Golgari. We got a Golgari 1/3 Death Toucher.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with a bounty counter, put a bounty counter on a creature or planeswalker. Whenever something with a bounty counter on it dies, you get 3 life and a card. We played this in Limited and it was great.
It was kind of medium. If you don't have removal
targeted
in hand,
removal, right?
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I watched Huey Jensen play this in an Abzan Humans deck standard, and it was a house because you have the targeted removal built in.
Again, 3-butt, really good.
Exactly. 3-butt is really good. It's getting above shock here. It doesn't get above that one with the eye on it in standard right now, but you know, it's the 3 toughness is very good. The death touch is very good, and if you can get some targeted removal going, 3 life and a card, your hand is gonna be full the entire time.
I'm just gonna say this. It looks like Cheville just got back from slaying a Rathalos and has finally got the chess piece. It's just like,
Yeah,
It is
actually,
very
if you want to
like
talk about
Monster
the
Hunter.
art,
Look at
it's
the
kind of
eggs.
sickening. Yeah, because it looks like Cheville killed the mom and then was like, "That's not enough." And then he went to the nest and he took out the eggs so he wouldn't have to fight them when they grew up.
Counterpoint, it looks like Chevelle is an egg enthusiast, found these eggs and said, please take a picture now. I want to be painted in front of the eggs. I love the way that these blues play off of the coat that I have. It's very dark with some maroon trim around it. I would like to be
Rick, take my picture.
in front of the blue eggs. But yeah, I think an A is fine. As far as like a build around goes, I think it's good. And then Commander is going to have a way where, you can really get a lot of use out of those bounty counters. If you want to make it like Cheville removal dot deck, where it's just like, and you get a counter, and you get a counter, and I destroy this, and I destroy this.
Right.
2 is a very attractive cost, and it is restrictive to Golgari. But 2 is very attractive.
The problem here, and the thing that I didn't really, I guess, connect with, I understood it, but I didn't connect with it the first time I read it, was that if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them. So you can't just keep giving out bounty counters and play board wipe tribal with Cheville and make this a good deck. You got one bounty counter at any given time. And that's
how you balance it, because otherwise... Yeah, man, it's brutal. You would fill up the whole board with bounty counters, you blow up the board, now for some reason you're drawing 7 cards, and it's just silly. But I do think it's an A, though, because, I mean, there's plenty of removal.
I think time will show us that Chevelle is an A. Brokos, Apex.
Let's talk about this one. Why don't I do this card?
Okay, you do this card.
You do. Joel does so much reading on these tier lists that I forget how to talk well. I can't talk effectively.
Well, here's one.
Because Joel does all of the
creature
talking.
types. It's got 3 creature types. You're gonna have great practice here.
All right, so
then we're gonna tier list how well you read
of Forever.
This. Yeah.
Blue, green, black. 2 other legendary creature. Nightmare, East, Elemental.
Ah, okay. B tier already. Keep going.
Not bad. Trample. You may cast this card from your graveyard using its mutate ability. So that's the only thing that gives this any sort of playability in my mind, is that it's a big Rancor that you could play from the yard.
Yeah, and you can play it for, like you said with the others, it can be a Golgari deck, it can be a Simic deck that just wants to get Brokos into the graveyard and continuously cast Brokos on top of
Don't care about it in Commander. I think it's in these colors, there's so much more. I've gotten the argument
so many times that this would be good in an Infect deck in Commander, and Jesus, please, we know it would be good in a Commander deck based on Infect. If you have an Infect deck in Commander, comment down below so that I can just be like, I'm so sorry for you. Look, Brokos is not good in Commander. It might find some home in Standard if we really need.
It could live in the 99, but it's an awful commander.
You need it.
I think it's an awful commander. It could live in the 99.
But look, in Standard, you need something on the board, so this doesn't like magically get you back from a board wipe.
Oh, in Standard.
Right, in Standard. You need something. Well, you need something on the board to mutate it onto, period, if you're playing it out of the graveyard. I just don't think it's got much legs,
I mean, a 6/6 for 5.
Yeah, a 6/6 trampler.
It is cute. It is cute because you could play a Bird of Paradise in a certain deck and then mutate this onto the bird from the yard, and now you have a very big threat.
Yeah.
So that I think saves it from like F and E for me. But I would rank it at like a C or a D. I'm just not super impressed by it. I would rather just have Rancor.
I think that D is where Brokos is going to live, down there with Snapdax. We got Vivianne, Monsters Advocate, up next. One of our 2 Planeswalkers that are the...
Alright, so immediately can't be your commander.
Right.
But 2 green, 3 other. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library, so already very good.
Yep.
+1, it protects itself. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Put your choice of Vigilance, Reach, or a Trample counter on it. -2, when you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser converted, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So toolbox effects. +1 protects itself. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. You may look at the top of your library. 5 mana, 3 loyalty. 3 loyalty seems fair for as powerful as this card is. Right off the bat, I would rank it in an A. Joel, let's hear your thoughts.
It's nice to get some green planeswalkers that we don't immediately go, is it Nissa? Okay, no, I'm good, thank you. Vivianne has some legs to her, you know? It's not just an immediate dismissal 5-cost planeswalker. You know, it's been a little while now since we had 5-cost Teferi, and I think we have forgotten that sometimes they design 5-cost planeswalkers to be really good. We've been living in the world of T3-fery for quite some time now in Standard, and I think that at this point everyone's like, well, is it 3-cost? Then it's not good. So when you look at Vivianne immediately, you're like, 5-cost, 3 loyalty, I'm straight. But we've got the passive looks on here. We got the +1 to immediately protect itself even from flying stuff. And we can, like, what is it, fork a creature, kind of? We can go get a creature with lesser CMC right out of the library.
Which again is huge. We just talked about Fiend Artisan in Birthing Pod, and this is another similar effect. If you're casting something big enough, you're going to be able to go in, and this is going to allow you to run, you know, a Psychosis Crawler or a Phyrexian Revoker or a one-of something, and I'm talking about, you know, a green card that you likely were able to ramp into and play as early as turn 3 or turn 4. I don't know.
So, but that's the thing, Jake, is you got to think about this too. When Vivianne gets played for 5 mana, you're definitely tapping out because you want to play her ASAP. So you can't -2 because you're not casting anything.
Yeah, so that would be the turn after.
Right, that's definitely after you untap, for sure. But a 3/3 that does reach, I think, is the most important part of that ability, that it does reach, is nothing to shake a stick at. And again, you can look at the top,
I would like this card if it was
creatures.
just creating a 3/3 for a +1. The fact that you have versatility on these tokens is just nutty, dude. The reach, being able to protect Vivianne so that the next turn when you, like, let's say it's modern, you play, I don't know, something big like Prime Time, and then all of a sudden you're going in, you're grabbing, like, maybe, you know, you're playing a certain devoted druid Vizier combo, and now you're able to go grab your combo piece and just combo off with this. Like, this is very, 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 very strong.
I'm so like just on the fence about Vivianne right now. Where would you put her? You said A?
I would put her at like a $15 card. So I would rank her at like an A. Yeah. If there's not one thing on this card that I don't like, the +1 is allowing us to make a 3/3. Are you
comfortable with me putting her at B?
No, I wouldn't put her at B.
You're hard A.
I'm hard A, dude.
Kudro's a B and Vivianne's an A for you.
Look at the passive on that card.
I understand.
The passive, the protection, and then also the ability to search. There's tutor on it. There's protection on it. It's just too much. There's a lot going on.
This has been our most controversial card yet so far. So
let's talk about
make sure you hit us up. What you think of Vivianne down there below. I want to know if you agree with me or Jake on Vivianne. Luca, Coppercoat Outcast. Red 3 for a 5 loyalty walker. +1 to exile top 3 creature cards exiled this way. Gain, you can cast them as long as you control a Luca Planeswalker. -2 to exile a creature you control, then reveal from the top of your library until you hit a creature card with a higher CMC. Put that card onto the battlefield and rest on the bottom of your library. And then -7, which is just 2 off from his starting loyalty. For each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent.
Another strong card.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like we're getting way too many A's, but for me, I would say that this one is an A. I love that it starts at 5 for 5 mana. I love that we get light up the stage right out of the gate for creature cards only, but still. And I love that we can send our 1 CMC to go get a 2, or if you want to look at it the other end of the realm, we can go send our 4 CMC and get a 5 right out of the gate.
if you build this in such a way where you know that if you play a creature of a certain converted, the next thing that you search for is going to be higher than that creature.
Birthing Pod-ish deck.
Yeah, I mean, you could set this up in such a way where you're like, all right, my creatures top out at 4. After I play the creature with 4, if I do my -2 to exile that, I grab Emrakul. So,
right.
Like that is like the kind of thing that I'm looking at with this card, and I'm also looking at exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled this way, you may cast this card from exile as long as you control a Luca. So even if you +1 exile some creatures, now all of a sudden they remove Luca. As long as you play Luca again, you can play those cards.
Right.
So they don't forget themselves. There isn't like
they're already in exile.
And then, obviously, if you can get to the -7 and have each creature you control deal its power, you should probably be closing out the game with that effect.
Oh, yeah, that absolutely should be the end of it for you. So, I would say...
I agree with you. It's a little bit expensive in red. Like, when I look at green, I know that green has the ability to ramp. I know that red is... but again, it's 3 modes that I don't hate any mode of them. Right. I don't hate any of them.
Lastly, but not leastly, we've got Luminous Broodmoth. Luminous Broodmoth is our Mothra of the set. White, 2-other for a 3/4 flyer that says whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it.
All right, so Solemnity Combo. We've already talked about Solemnity Combo before, but we'll briefly bring it up again. There's a combo where you can use Solemnity to, you pair this with a sack outlet that generates mana. You can go infinite in a multiple kind of ways with this card, which is going to save it from like a F, E, and D for me.
Sure.
But... in limited, it's fine. 3/4 for
it's really great.
For 4, that's good.
I've seen it used greatly.
In limited, it's really good.
Yeah.
In Commander, I think it's one of the kind of things where it's like if you can assemble these combo pieces, sure, I think that you can have some big success with it in Commander. In Pioneer, I know people are going to tinker with it.
Yeah.
Modern, probably a little slow.
Yeah, probably not in Modern. I haven't seen it break out in Standard. We're filming this about 1 day into the Ikoria Standard, so we're not that far into it, but I haven't seen it pop up yet. It seems like it's one of those cards that Spikes don't like because it needs something else to make it really great. It doesn't do anything. By itself, it's a flying 3/4, and that's it. In a field full of when this creature mutates, return 10 power from your graveyard to the battlefield, or go get a free permanent, it just doesn't do quite enough, especially right on the cast. It needs some other pieces to
I can't rank it at like a S, A, or B. I can't rank it at F or E or D. I feel like it's just a C, dude.
Yeah, I feel like that is a C, and if you look at that nice little curve on our Ikoria tier list, Jake. What do you think? Are you
not
happy
bad
with all of it?
I'm happy with this list. I think that we have 1 S, we have 1 F. So I mean, that's how it goes.
Baby. Bell curve.
Baby.
We appreciate you watching. Let us know in the comments down there which ones you think we got right and which ones you think we got wrong. These are our favorite new video series to do because we get to have a conversation with you after it's over.
Yes, I hope that you've enjoyed the tier list. If you do enjoy the tier list, click like, click subscribe. We've got more to come. And again, put it in the comments if there's a tier list that you want to see. If it's a funny meme, we might do a tier list on it. We've considered doing sharks, just to give you an idea. But if let's take that
tantalizing them. We've considered sharks.
All right, let's take that back again. When we take the entire tier list seriously, and then all of a sudden we rank Kinnan F after we talk about how good it is, that is going to break people's minds. And you know what? You could put me talking about that right there at the end of the video after the credits as an Easter egg to anybody who wants a fucking Easter egg.
Easter's over, Jake.